All right. Well, I've said before in videos that I am conflicted about many things. And even though I just made a video talking about, is race, a concern, this and that, mostly talking shit about Wignats and everything else because they talk a lot of shit and basically they have come to the point where it's just like, we just hate all white people that aren't going to fight for the cause, right? And so to me, that's alienating and also just, makes me feel like, well, fuck you then, But it's interesting on Google today, they have, let's see here. What is the gentleman's name? Rodolfo Corky Gonzalez. And basically, it's talking about the Chicano movement and talking about Chicano nationalism to reject, WASP, you know, uh, events, this and that. It doesn't inherently talk about race, of course. They say ethnicity, of course, race and ethnicity. Like I say, there's these fine lines. It's like the false dichotomy of patriotism versus nationalism, right? And of course, like I say, maybe one day I'll get um, Stalin's book on nationalism. I'll read that and get a better idea of what he meant. But it's interesting when you read about these things to a point. And the LARP about Aslan. For those that know, Aslan is the LARP that we was Aztecs and shit, basically. Um, this LARP Aslan idea, where it's just like, well, we were all, this way, bro, until the Spanish came in. It's like, yeah, that may be true, but it's like, do you really think you want to live like that? Do you really want to live as an Aztec again? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. You LARP about it because you just don't want to be treated like shit. I get it. I get it. This is why this is what black folks will say. This is what Asians say. Like Chinese will say, well, we're returning to tradition, right? And I've said that numerous times about every single time I've talked about the Chinese. But the thing is, though, can you even return to that tradition? No, I don't think you can. I think you can embrace aspects of it, sure. And you can try to have some sort of, collectivist idea that, Chicanos or Chinese folks or whatever can get along, sure. I can respect that to a point. I think it's funny that they say Aslan, but it's like Aslan. I mean, I'm looking at the Aztec Empire, and it's just various parts of what is Mexico. It has nothing to do with what was what is the United States, what it is now. But there are plenty of LARPers who do this. I mean, it's amazing to me, of course, once again, with the whole. It's like I said, this is where I will agree with Wignats to a point where, nationalism for thee and not for me type of shit. I get it. There's a lot of hypocrisy that exists, right? Where it's just like, oh, because they have revolutionary nationalism and ours is about race or whatever, then I get it. There's a lot of hypocrisy. And when I see this, hold on, I'm going to click through these. I'm just going to read them. La Raza Mexicano, Espanol, Latino, Hispano, Chicano. Okay. Or whatever I call myself. I look the same. I feel the same. I cry and sing the same. I am the masses of my people and I refuse to be absorbed. I am Joaquin. The odds are great, but my spirit is strong. My faith is unbreakable. My blood is pure. Wow. See, the thing is, I mean, when I read that to a point, I say to myself, that is hypocritical. It's hypocritical because people will spend so much time will say, "Oh, these white nationalists, how dare they want to keep their purity, this and that." I mean, the thing is this: is because they're not as radical. And because the thing is, they fear white nationalism because honkies actually do stuff. Whereas Hispanos and whatnot will LARP about a lot of this shit. But they, like I said, it's interesting to see. I mean, this is why, like, this love-hate sort of relationship I have with the idea of fascism, this and that, where it's like, well, our people are great, but these folks are our comrades. It's like that. It has never worked that way. It has never worked that way. So it's interesting to see these things, and you see this, you hear this LARP. I remember I used to hear this LARP, and I really don't go in those areas anymore because I really don't have the patience for it. I really don't have the cojones anymore, or the stamina to listen to this bullshit. This idea where it's just like, yeah, decolonization, bro, and black folks and Chicanos are gonna get along, bro, and it's just like they're gonna get on our side, bro, and it's just like, it has never been that way. It has never worked that way. Not completely. There's always going to be hierarchies within groups. I mean, even if you have, a purely Chicano movement, it's like there are going to be some folks. It's like, well, I have a white wife. What about that? Oh, this is why, to a point, I get so tired of talking about race. I can say race is a thing, and race can be important, but the thing is, though, it's so easy to get caught in bullshit because, like I say, you can blame history, you can blame the powers that be, you can blame so many aspects of it to say, oh, well, race or ethnicity, it's just tiring. It is. It's tiring talking about race and ethnicity and all this sort of thing. And to me, it's just LARP. You can't go back in time. And you don't want to. You don't want to do that. You don't want to give up the lifestyle that you have. Do you really want to go back to, like I say, with the Aztecs, you really want to go back to a freaking, territories considered Aslan? I mean, it's hilarious to me. Why would you consider all of this? I mean, I'm looking at the map here. You've got like going Texas all the way up to Oregon, Idaho, California. All this is considered Aslan. It's like, it's just LARP. It's fucking LARP, man. I don't know. As I get older, maybe I'm somewhat of a lib, but I also just, I don't know, man. It's tiring. It is. It's just tiring. I don't have the backing that a lot of these folks do that make their living from streaming. It just, I don't even know how I feel anymore about this, but it's just like, all I know is all I can do is just try to do what's best for me. I hate to say that, to sound like a selfish asshole, but it's like, that's how I feel. There's just so much bullshit out there. And there's so much LARP, and you know damn well that it's never going to happen the way you think it will. It never will. So it's like, to me, even if, I don't even know, man. Maybe it's just sobering. Maybe it's just now that I've been out in the real world, I just feel put off by a lot of things. This idea that you want to return to some traditional form or become like Aztecs or something like that and learn your native tongue, it's like, bro, go ahead and do that if you want to, but the rest of society is going to be like, I kind of like what I'm doing, man. That's not to say that people don't want to strive for better. Absolutely. But I think that the folks that really get into that, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I've just been so destroyed by it. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I just feel alienated from so much of this. Whether it's talk about, some sort of white identity or some sort of Chicano identity. maybe I feel too lib about it. Maybe I'm so much of an American that I'm just numb to it, and that I don't even want to talk about race. I don't know. But it's one of those things where it's like, maybe deep down, I feel like I'm never going to be accepted by any of them. I guess it's just alienation. But I don't know. I'm trying to be as honest as I can. I'm not doing this for clicks. I'm not doing this just to piss people off. I can say that with the other one about, is race, is race really that important, or whatever the hell the title was. But I'm not trying to be with this. I'm trying to feel through my emotions, if you will. I'm trying to get in my feelings a little bit and figure out why. It's hard to think about. And it's hard to really tackle realistically. I'm trying to realistically, and not trying to just be, a LARPer to think that, we're going to go back to a different time and we was Hyperboreans, or we was Aslan, or whichever, we was Aztecs and shit. Move past that. I don't know. There's just so much LARP. There's so much nerd shit, basically, of just nerds and geeks who have just read this shit. Like nerds, there's a separation between nerds who are somewhat intelligent people versus geeks. I thought that there was a difference. Geeks are people that just read these books and think that somehow, I mean, they read this shit, and it's like there's some weakness, I'm sure, who are out there that read Dungeons and Dragons. People like Varg who read these books and somehow pagan revival and shit. It's just, I don't know. I don't know where the hell I'm going. I think I need to just wrap this LARP up. But it's hard when you get out into the real world, as minimally as I have recently by getting a job back in June. And you're just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck am I doing, man? It's like, go ahead and blame the school. It's like, there's another aspect with this whole Corky Gonzalez stuff, is that he's like, oh, the schools, the white schools indoctrinating. It's like, yeah, they destroy everybody. They destroy white kids. They destroy black kids. They destroy everybody. They do. They destroy everybody. It's just like a bullet, Bullet doesn't care what you are. The school doesn't care what you are. The school is there to break you, and it's there to control you. Doesn't care whether you're white, black, Chinese, whichever. It puts you into a different hierarchy, and it breaks you. It's just like prison. It's just like anything else, right? It's just like these are the supposed mores of the military, or supposed ideals of the military, right? That doesn't matter whether you're Asian or this and that, or that you were a gang member, or your battle buddy was from a different gang or whatever, that you're going to fight for America, right? That's the whole idea of it. I don't know. I just, you know what? Let's just go ahead and end it here. I just feel uncomfortable, and there's a lot of uncomfortable silence. So tomorrow I will record another excerpt of the book by Junger, The Worker, Dominion and Form. So look out for that tomorrow. I'm also thinking about looking at another book about guerrilla warfare that I do have on my shelf that I'd like to read, which is Guerrilla Warfare by Che Guevara. Ernesto Che Guevara. Yes. He also wrote a book on guerrilla warfare, which I'm sure there will be a lot of very similar themes to that of Mao Zedong. So hopefully when we read that, we can kind of get a better idea. I'll probably read that one live over the course of 3 or 4 streams. So yeah, anywho, I think I'll just wrap it up here. Tell me what y'all think in the comments and say, Uncle Thomas, you're kind of getting cringe. You are welcome to say that and say, yeah, you're getting cringe, or maybe you could say, I understand what you're saying. Whatever, type what you want. It's all right. Or don't type anything at all. You can leave a dislike and just say, I don't want to listen to your bullshit, and that's okay. I don't blame you. I'm just thinking out loud and I'm working through my feelings, I guess. It happens when you get older. It happens when you have to work a regular job and you can't just be in your little circle jerk group, and you have to go out in the real world. And when you do that, you either just say, well, fuck that, I'm going to go back, or you try to create your own separate little thing versus everyone. I don't know. Anywho, I've been ranting and raving long enough. Apologies for the dead air. See you later. Goodbye.